Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Today we have a fun matchup for you. We have Monkey D. Luffy, purple and black, versus blue Boa Hancock. And my wife is playing Luffy because it's quite advantaged in this matchup, and I'm going to try my best with Boa Hancock. So yeah, like I said, Luffy is highly favored so far in this matchup that I've tested, but let the battle begin.
Luffy. Hancock. Clearly, that's exactly what he would say. No, we can't. Oh, hey.
Alright, my wife went first, so she has her 1 Dawn, and then it's my turn. Got 2 Dawn. I deployed 2 Trafalgar Law blockers. Passing it back over to my wife with her 3 Dawn turn. Not a whole lot of plays you can do in the Luffy deck for 3 Dawn. So she's just gonna swing 6k at me. I choose to block with my Trafalgar Law. 4 Dawn turn for Boa Hancock. Let's see what I decide to do. I decide to tap 3 Dawn for another blocker, and I look at the top 5, put them back in any order, then I swing 6k. My wife counters out with two 1k counters, a Frankie and a Sanji. And passing it back over to her. Alright, 5 Dawn turn for Luffy. Use the Frankie. Frankie use the ability put 2 Dawn back to discard a card, draw a card, then use Luffy to get those Dawn back that you just used, and then she's gonna swing 7k at my face. Choose to block with my Doflamingo. 6 Dawn turn for Boa Hancock. And my wife does still have 1 blocker. Alright, so I tap 4 Dawn for another Trafalgar Law, which bounces my Law and bounces the Frankie. Then I redeploy my blocker, and then I swing 6k with Boa Hancock once again. Alright, my wife didn't counter out of that one, so she is down to 3 life. Alright, now we're getting into the area where Luffy does really well. More Dawn, she uses the Frankie blocker again, and then puts the Dawn back and does all that fun shenanigans with purple Luffy. And then she deploys a pudding, which I'm not sure if she drew that or not, but then she swings 6k at me. I choose to take this one. Back to my turn. Alright, 1 Dawn, I find another blocker. I have a lot of blockers in this deck, and then 7 Dawn, I Gravity Blade both of her characters to the bottom. That allows me to draw a card with my leader, Boa Hancock. Then I swing 5k with Trafalgar Law, with this countered out with Nico Robin, and then I swing another 5k with Boa Hancock. And she gives me another Sanji 1k counter, so she counters out of both of those attacks. Alright, her turn again. 10 Dawn, 9 Dawn. She uses 9 Dawn for Kaido. She discards a card, kills one of my characters, and then I have to discard a card. Alright, so she chooses to kill Trafalgar Law, and then I also have to discard a card. Then she swings at me with her Luffy, and I choose to block. Alright, here we go. Up to 10 Dawn. I choose to tap 4 Dawn. For Gecko, Moria allows me to return a card from my trash. I get my Doflamingo blocker back, which I deploy, look at the top 5, put them back in any order. Then I decide to swing 8, which she has to take because, like I said, she doesn't have a blocker. Alright. Wife chooses to use a Luffy Taro, -1 Dawn. She plays out a blocker Nami, which is on play. She can draw some cards by trashing a card, and she swings at me for a lot. I think it's like 8k. So I choose to take this one. Probably because I'm afraid of the Luffy Taro and the Kaido. But she also swings the Kaido. So I choose to block the Kaido. Alright. Boa Hancock's turn once again. So first I choose to tap 3. Well, first I choose to swing. So this is kind of an interesting thing in One Piece. A lot of times I just wait to deploy my cards until after I go to combat. So my opponent doesn't know what's coming next. I choose to swing 6k, and then they choose to use their Nami blocker, so I choose to use Sanji. Sanji is look at the top card and then put it into play. Unfortunately, it's not a character, it's a gravity blade, so I put that on the bottom. That's really rough. So I felt really bad about that, because normally you get something good with Sanji, and I was like thinking about rebouncing my Doflamingo and then replaying my Doflamingo to look at the top 5 and then use Sanji, but I kind of wanted to get him down, you know, a turn early. Alright, my wife's turn. She plays a Zoro Juro, looks at the top 5 for a Straw Hat. She finds a Usopp, 2k counter Usopp. And then she plays another Frankie, which lets her draw some cards. She has 3 Dawn remaining. And now she's going to combat. 7. I think it's, yes, I counter out of her Luffy Taro attack. And then she swings Kaido at me, and I choose to take that one. I'm thinking about the trigger, but I decided not to trigger it. And yeah, now she's going to swing 8k with her leader, which I block that one. Alright, so now we're even on life. She has 2, I have 2. And now I have to decide what to do. So first I play a blocker. Very wise. Go to combat, swing at Luffy with my Sanji. I remind her she could use her blocker. She decides to save it with a 2k. And I just swing at face for 5. She 1ks. I swing another 5. And that's when she uses her blocker. Then I Gum Red Rock her Kaido to the bottom of her deck, which draws me a card, and then I deploy another blocker, Boa Hancock. Alright, wife's turn. 10 Dawn turn. She taps 10 for the Kaido and Linlin, which is huge. Scary. So next turn she can minus 10 Dawn and blow up my whole board. So that's very not cool. So now I'm really on the clock. Alright, so now she's swinging with Luffy Taro. And I choose to block with Trafalgar Law. She swings with Zoro. I take it. And then she swings with her leader, and it's a 1k counter out of it. Alright, so I'm in a tough spot. If that Linlin attacks next turn, my whole board will get blown up and I'm in big trouble. So I decided just to try to go for game. So I start by swinging 9k, she doesn't have counters. So then I'm like, okay, I can just try to go for game here. So I swing 10k at her with Gecko Moria. She doesn't have the counter for it, and then I swing 10k with my leader for game.
Love, love me.
True love wins them all. Boa Hancock for the win. Well, folks, happy Valentine's Day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, adios.